We're back at the shop, back on the Volvo. So we left off, we got the belt on, everything's kind of lined up. We got to drop the tensioner in next, so I'm going to probably do that right here. We did a quick test on that last night, so I think everything should be pretty straightforward. It's 2 bolts on the tensioner, which we ended up rechecking yesterday, so I'm reusing the old one because the new one that's listed in the parts catalog is incorrect. Here's what they sent me. Obviously not even remotely close. And this one's in good shape. There's no oil leaking out around the seal. We repressed it back in nice and slow. Don't go cranking on it, you will blow the seal out. And it is incredibly windy and rainy today, which really sucks because I gotta blast that trailer in a couple hours. So might be getting wet. And then the thing will just surface rust and then they'll have to wire wheel it off before paint, but gotta happen. So let's drop this tensioner in. It should slip right in here. There's 2 bolts there. So it should, I believe, sit something like this. Ish. We'll kind of check and see how that goes. So throw you guys on the tripod, throw a light up here, and try and jam this thing in. All right. Again, I have no idea how much of this you guys will be able to see, but tensioner will drop in this way-ish. I'm gonna try and get that bottom bolt on and in. Couple threads there. Man, how the hell did this thing go in here? All right, that one's in, and this tensioner bolt. Man, we are so far off on this. Uh-oh. I don't know how well this is going to work. All right, well, I got the lower bolt in. Somehow I got to figure out how to get enough tension on there to unleash or release the pin. So then get the other bolt in because it's not trying to line up right now. So tensioner had to go in first, so I gotta actually grab this little piece. Hopefully that hits the ground. Tensioner goes in first down here. So that's loose, it's not fully tightened, but I got that loose and in position. Then I ended up having to reroute the timing belt. It was getting hung up. And I couldn't get this to go around the water pump and onto that tensioner pulley. There's no tension on it yet, but it was too tight and it got caught up on the bottom of the crank behind the balancer, so there was like a 3-tooth gap. So been messing with that for the last 5 or 6 minutes. Now we should be good to go back up in the air, tighten this tensioner down, 2 12 mils there, and then put that little cap back in that I just dropped for the tensioner. Pull the pin and we should be about good on timing. Then we'll rotate it around, check it, and then fill this thing up with some coolant. It should just be 2 12 mils here. Don't remember if I could get to these with the regular ratchet or not. $13s maybe? Get them in past the balancer. Need some shorties. That's how we did this. This piece fell off of the tensioner, and now I gotta make sure that this goes back in. Hopefully there's room to slide that. Not quite sure. That would be really unfortunate if that's gotta get loosened and taken out again. All this does is act as like a little damper or guide for the pin on the tensioner. And I don't know if this will fit. Mother son of a gun. That's really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Loosen it up, try again. Well, it's been a couple days, 2-3 days, I don't even know off the top of my head. Volvo's still in the air because I've needed this ground space, but we are pretty much ready to drop this down now and fire it up. I've been messing around with a couple things. Let's get this down real quick, and then I got the timing belt on. And then off camera, I don't remember exactly where we left off. But that belt was a huge pain to get back on the car. For whatever reason. It was really, really tight on here trying to wrestle this back in. But now the belt is reinstalled, so we should be good there. Brand new water pump. And then on the tensioner, I pulled the pin out. I did have to retime this a couple times, and hopefully... Where's my light switch? There we go. Hopefully this is about where it needs to be. Unfortunately, the timing marks that I have that are on here, where this and this white marks, where those two actually go, those are on the plastic cover right here, which is broken off. So unfortunately, I ended up having to kind of guesstimate it a little bit, but I did rotate the motor around 3 or 4 times. Nothing's hitting. Hopefully this is accurate. Worst case, it's one tooth off, and we'll kind of see what happens. If there's anything that's off, it's going to be the exhaust side. But I pulled the belt off, retimed it again, tried to get this at 12 o'clock. There's a little Sharpie mark there, and there's one here. Those aren't really good factory references. It's just Sharpie marks from somebody working on this prior. So we are pretty much ready to fire this up. Let me grab some of these tools and things out of here, and then I got to throw the battery back in and crank this over. There's no coolant in it, but before we start buttoning everything else up completely, I'd like to make sure it starts and we're not throwing any crazy noises or things like that. So, battery's pretty straightforward on this. Oh, yeah, I'm beat. It's about 8:30 at night now. Been running around all day. We tried winterizing the boat. Well, I meant to try winterizing and shrink wrapping the boat today with a couple buddies, and my boat was filled with water. So that obviously did not happen. But that's a whole different story for another time. So everything else is just kind of dangling here. We should be good to fire this up. Fingers crossed we don't get any weird, goofy noises. Like I said, no coolant in the motor yet, but let's give this a shot, eh? trying to think if there's anything else I had to do, but it should be good. We have lights. We have running. Have every single gauge light on for whatever reason. That seems odd. Why is every light on? That's really friggin' weird. Oh well, it's running. Sounds okay too, if you ask me. I don't know why, but every single gauge light in my car is currently on. And I haven't disconnected anything electrical. Got a whole Christmas tree. Every single warning indicator stayed on, but that sounds good enough to me, so time to start buttoning up these covers. I don't have all that much. We'll do these ones up top just because the car's down right now. This thing's got to go back on here. And then we'll figure out why we have a Christmas tree going on in there. Kind of worried about that. Shouldn't be. Unless it's just like a weird reset from the battery. Maybe. Come on, you little plastic bits. What the hell? There. Come on. This is really annoying. Perhaps it might not have been the best idea to start trying to do this today when I'm already exhausted and frustrated. Okay. I don't remember where this fuel line pinch went. Or which way this went. Something like this. Yeah, that looks like it'll work. Light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, you know what? I bet it's because we have a couple of these sensors unplugged. That would do it, wouldn't it? Another little fuel line tool or crimp. don't think this one's really all that necessary, but what do I know? Now, we have 2 more covers. Unfortunately, this needs to go back up in the air. Good enough for now. We have our timing belt shield that needs to get jammed on under the car, which is actually going to be kind of a pain in the ass to get to. All right, this little bracket goes on to the bottom of this here. Can't see. I'm kind of thinking that this might not end up going back on here. It's my own car, so I don't really care all that much. But it came off of here, and that pulley's never been off. Unless it's got some weird alignment thing. Okay, let me mess with this. All right, so I played Tetris with this thing a little bit more. Now it's in. I had it hung up on the bolt right there. That's where I was getting stuck. But now we're good. One in. This other one in up top by hand. And we'll see what I can get up here to tighten these up all the way. I'm guessing I left my 10 mil up top, which I did. But okay, longest bolts in the world. I'm really nervous about those gauges now. I have no idea why it would be doing that. Like even parking light or parking brake, and my e-brake's not on. Come on. All right. There we go. We have one more cover to put on, which we need to do from the top, and then we can fill this thing up and let it run with some coolant. I'll have to grab my tools and the vice grips down here, put that plastic cover back on, but it's all small minor things that I'm not that worried about right now. So, one more cover, which might actually be kind of a hassle. We'll see. Surprisingly not bad at all. What else do we need here? 12. There we go. Then we just got one of these to hook up Move our coolant bottle back over here. Do our connector first. Coolant bottle's on. We should be about good here. Let's fill this thing up. Ah, the coolant's outside. I'll be right back. Alrighty. Add some coolant in here and we should be good to go. Let's see how good I can do without a funnel. Well, there's a skid plate we gotta put on the bottom of the car too when we're all done. But this is where we will start. One bottle. See how slow this takes to fill up before I top it off with any more. I'm guessing well, I know for a fact I'm gonna need more, but nothing like waiting on coolant to flow. And we'll fire it up and let it idle here for a while. Keep an eye on the temps. And I'll show you guys what's going on the dash too. Because that's concerning to me. Almost as bad as that pour job on this attempt. So that's overfilled, but that'll continue to keep draining down. It's just moving slower and slower and slower, and then once we fire it up and run it, we should be good. So let me crack the door here. Don't need to go running a car. And I'll hop in here and fire this thing up. Unfortunately, I spilled a little bit of coolant, so I can't make sure that this water pump's dry. We'll keep an eye on that. Jump into the driver's seat here real quick, too. Look at this. Every single, I don't know if it's because the battery died or what, but I got wiper fluid, fuel, which isn't bad, battery, coolant, brake, parking brake, service. Service should click off here in a little bit, but I don't know why every single one is on. It's like every light that you turn on when you turn the key on. Oh, now I got traction. It's like my ignition. Weird. So weird. I don't get it. Just add it to the list of problems that I have on this stupid car now. Because that didn't do that before. Warmed it up, thermostat opened, everything else is good. I'm an idiot, dash light stayed on. Well, I finished putting the timing belt in and tested that. Cert belt, dummy, my bad. Here's me overthinking that another thing went wrong on the car, and no, just me being an idiot. So let me wrestle this SERP belt back on, then we'll fire this up, and then maybe go for a ride around the parking lot if I feel like putting the wheels on. We'll see. All right, we're onto the crank. I'm gonna get out to the AC compressor. There's not a lot of room in here for this. Crank, AC. Come on. Come on, you. Come on, you. All right, AC on. Let me go forward, around the idler, around the alternator, around the idler. Well, that can't be right. Fancy tool in here. Come on. All right, let me keep wrestling this, figure out which routing I need to use. There's a couple of them. There are two ways to route that. The first one I tried was for the short belt version. There's a longer belt version, so I got that on there now. That's all hooked up. I did want to put a new one on, so I might still order one. If I had one here today, I would have just slapped a new one on, obviously. I didn't have parts, and it's 9 o'clock at night, and I want to make sure that this is done and running, so now with a charging system hooked up, hopefully that will trigger all these little monitors on here, not monitors, but the gauges, and give enough signal to make this work. So here's the Christmas tree of lights we had last time with the alternator off. Oh, they all go off. Something obvious, something stupid. Don't overthink it. We'll test it, and now that the water pump is fully on and functioning, we will let this pump around, top off the coolant if we need to, because I'm an idiot. And then I'll put this drip tray back on. So while this is running, I'm gonna put it up in the air, put that last plate in, and then, well, we're down to just a wheel, I think. Keep an eye on that coolant bottle while this is going up, but should be a pretty quick swap here. I need this to be done. Really need this to just be done. Been driving the truck every day, killing me on fuel. I've needed it a bunch too, but this is supposed to be the winter car, so I still have to fix one crack in the exhaust that I need to final weld, but until then, I don't know where my other belt went. There's one bolt. Well, that's not good. I'm gonna go dig around for some metric hardware. There we have it. Found another bolt that I needed, so might as well throw the wheel on real quick. Shit, I can't even take this for a ride yet. And it's raining. We'll save that for tomorrow. Do an actual final shakedown on this tomorrow, hopefully. Because I don't feel like moving all the heavy stuff that's behind the car right now. Did I mention how much I hate European wheel bolts? Hurt myself so many times because of these. And that should do it. Oh, man. You guys didn't tell me about my vice grip. This would have been much easier with the tire off. Well, that sucks. All right, let me finish this one up. That wraps up this video. We'll do a test drive, hopefully tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you made it all the way through, we'll be done with this stupid car, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Hopefully real soon, and then we can get back to that Super Glide. Catch you on the next one.